Don't bump it too much. Oh wait, am I introing? We didn't even talk about that. We're live. Sure. I'll intro. Hi. This is going to be a chaotic episode, but it's going to be so much fun. Welcome to Tag Talk. My name is Kiley. This is Haley. This is Brandon. He's my nephew. He really shouldn't be on camera, but we're just going to live with that today, I guess. And this is going to be a fun episode. I'm really excited because I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but like the Elite are back together. Or as Haley would say it, they're complete elite. I'm not going to give that any context. I'm just going to let it simmer. But
that's my gadget of the week. You know, I had to become Ryan in our text thread.
Yeah. I liked it. I really did. Are you? You want to play Animal Crossing? Okay, so we have to turn the sound down then. Okay. Because my people don't want to hear you playing Animal Crossing. Anyway, we're going to talk about being the Elite today. We're going to talk about the Elite today. We're going to talk about our favorite Double or Nothing memories. We're just going to have a good time. It's going to be, like I said, a chaotic episode. I know you. If you want to turn the sound on, you got to go over there. That's the rules. I don't make them. God does. Anyway, it's going to be a chaotic episode. If you can hear things in the background, it's because there's a 4-year-old here. Nothing I can do about it. He is playing Animal Crossing. But we have a couple super chats that we should start with. So Matt says, "Hi, Haley and Kiley. It's my girls. After today's BT ending, could you see Kenny turning on Hanger and the Bucks at Double or Nothing?"
I don't think so. I think that they kind of cleared up a lot of questions that maybe a lot of people had about, oh, does Kenny know about it? Like, if he doesn't know, like, how is he going to react? But I feel like we've kind of cleared the air on some of that stuff. I do think that maybe we'll see Takeshita turn though, especially because his absence has been quite loud lately. But I don't think Kenny would.
I don't know. It'll be really interesting because on Being the Elite, if you missed it, the Dark Order told Kenny Omega about Matt Jackson's nod, but he like already knew, which I thought it was really funny because Matt Jackson was like, it's not like I've been having panic attacks and like
sweating bullets about it.
So I don't think Kenny turns. I think Takeshita turns. But like, it's interesting to think about it because Kenny knew and there's like no betrayal. Back up, bud. Then I don't know where Ibushi comes in.
Yeah. That's fair. And especially because they're doing Anarchy in the Arena. Like we're not doing Blood and Guts like a lot of people had thought. So yeah, I don't know where Ibushi comes into play, but they have a plan and I'm ready for it, you know?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And Haley and I talked about this a little bit on last week or maybe it was the week before, but like this Double or Nothing feels a little weird. Like I'm not that into a lot of the matches that are happening, but like this Elite story to me feels incomplete, but like in a good way. Like you would expect that the Hangman reunion would happen at Double or Nothing or later. And it didn't. It happened now on Dynamite of all, not even like a special or a special Dynamite or something. It just happened on Dynamite. So I'm really excited to see what Double or Nothing has in store because of, I don't think it was abrupt, the Elite reunion. I think it was a long time coming, but I definitely think there's unpredictability for where the story goes from here. Unpredictability? Apredictability? What is it? Someone tell me.
But yeah, I agree. I do feel like this Double or Nothing is a little, I don't want to say like lackluster, but you know, it could use something like an Ibushi or something like that, or a surprise like Takeshita turning to kind of, you know, give it a little oomph.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of matches on this card that I'm like, Like, I don't care that it's there. Like, I'm not mad at it, but like, well, except for Jeff Jarrett. But it's just like some of them, to me at least, could be Dynamite matches or like TV special matches, and not. But I trust that it'll be okay. And then we have another super chat from Ryan who says, "Why did the console gamer get a headache at the art museum? Too many frames."
I love it. Incredible.
So if you guys want your question or your comment read on air, you can submit a super chat and we'll read every single super chat. And again, I apologize for the loud child in the room, but family things happen. And sometimes if you have watched any of like my earliest wrestling media stuff, he was there. A lot younger, but he was there. So this is just him making his return cameo.
As he should. And, you know, he likes the Elite, so it's perfect.
He does. We were watching BTE earlier, and he was like, just watching, like a little Elite fan. We've indoctrinated him since birth. There's a picture of me holding him at like 4 months old, and Wrestle Kingdom is on. Like an old Wrestle Kingdom. It was great.
I love it.
He does super kick parties and beats up his dad. It's the best. Like, how can you judge a child for that? You know?
We stand.
I was gonna go somewhere with that, but I don't remember where it was. We have a lot. We're not gonna do Double or Nothing is this weekend, which I found out today, by the way. I totally forgot. I totally forgot. I really did. Haley and I were texting and I was like, oh my God, Double or Nothing is this weekend. It is. We're not going to do like a Double or Nothing preview because like we said, some of the matches are just like blah. At least to us, some of the matches are blah. But we're going to talk about the Elite. We're going to talk about some of our favorite Double or Nothing memories. We're just going to have like a good little chill session with you guys, if you're cool with that. Even if you're not cool with that, this is what's going to happen. So
we're cool with it, so that's all that matters.
I love that Haley. So on Twitter today, Haley was like, "I wonder who we're gonna piss off today."
We made so many people mad last week, you guys, with the title and like the thumbnail of Tag Talk. People were so mad, but it was like a joke, and like I thought we were in on that, you know. But you know, the Tag Talk viewers know, and that's all that matters. The neckbeards.
It was a joke, but it's fine. I kind of enjoyed it. So, Haley, we kind of just like talked about. We have another super chat from our dad, Chris, who says, "Can't stay, but just want to stop by and say hi. Did you both get your hair done? It looks nice."
I mean, I washed my hair.
I washed it yesterday.
Yeah, I'm clean. You know,
I took a bath. I'm bathed. Is that what you mean? Thank you for the super chat. And also, if you have any Bleacher Report IT issues this weekend during Double or Nothing, make sure to submit them to Chris at BR Doctor on Twitter. He is the head of IT. But we kind of talked about being the Elite, and so do you want to talk about the Elite now? Talk about what happened on Dynamite?
Of course. That I wasn't watching.
Oh my God, I totally just forgot about that until right now.
Yeah, so I didn't watch Dynamite this week live, but I saw everybody on Twitter and I was like, I should probably tune in for whenever Don Callis gets on screen because I know
something's at the end.
Yeah, because I know something's gonna happen. And then I was like, okay, well, whatever, I don't see him. And I was hungry, so I went and I made nachos. And then, like, I'm gone, making my nachos. I'm all happy about it. And I walk out to the living room, eat my nachos. I open my phone. I have, like, 30 notifications. And I was like, what's going on? I thought something bad happened online. And I was very scared about it. And I opened my phone, and it's just people tagging me and Kiley in tweets about the Elite. And I love them. They made my day. But that's how I found out that the Elite reunited.
It was so funny because I was like confused because they kept saying Don Callis will speak, Don Callis will speak. They kept saying Don Callis will speak, Don Callis will speak, and then he wasn't. And then we got to like the last match, and I was like, Don Callis is just not gonna speak, but he was at the end.
Yeah.
Which should have been a red flag to me, but it wasn't. Like, in my head, I'm like, okay, Don Callis is just going to be at the end, and like John Moxley will beat up Kenny Omega, and like we'll set up next week for the go home episode of Dynamite. I did not expect the reunion to happen here. I mentioned earlier I thought it was going to happen at Double or Nothing or Forbidden Door, but I'm kind of glad it happened here. So basically, Don Callis comes out and he basically says, like, I'm the best, Kenny Omega sucks, and he has like a ton of security, and then Kenny Omega comes to like beat up Don Callis, shirtless in jeans again. Man is shirtless everywhere, like on being the elite on the AW.
You know, he worked hard for that.
The AW Games videos, like just shirtless. He's like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be half naked, and I respect it.
And he knows the female demo. He knows. Okay, he knows when he comes on screen without a shirt that ratings go up. It's proven.
He's got to sell the angle. He's got to sell the game. He has to sell pay-per-view tickets. He knows. So Kenny Omega comes out. He gets beat up by security and the BCC. And then the Young Bucks come out and they have like a collection of weapons, including a trash can lid that Kenny Omega uses like a Captain America shield. Incredible. And Kenny's barbed wire broom, which is like a throwback from the John Moxley feud. So then Hangman comes out, because they're outnumbered, of course, and commentary stresses they're outnumbered. And we get the reunion. And Hangman has the barbed wire broom, which Haley missed all of this because nachos are priority. But immediately my phone was blowing up. You guys are like the best. Anytime something happens with the elite, even if it's like the smallest thing, everyone's like, check on Haley and Kiley. Yeah. Are Haley and Kiley alive? How are you doing? Every time, and it's the best part. It's the best part of Tag Talk, I think. It's just my mentions being like, are you breathing? Are you alive? It's the best. So the elite reunite at the end of AW Dynamite, and it isn't the go home for Double or Nothing. So this week is going to be really interesting, especially with being the elite. Apparently Kenny Omega knew that Matt Jackson had done the nod and let Hangman win, and kind of made a whole joke of all of it, which was really interesting to me. I didn't expect it, but I'm interested to see where they go with it. And I also like now I'm interested about the Dark Order, like even more than before.
I know, and I posted on Twitter because the first thing I noticed, because I'm unhinged and mentally ill, like I said in my tweet, you have to be an elite stan. But the first thing I noticed when the Dark Order opened the door to the Bucks and Kenny's locker room, and they saw Hangman in there, was when Matt went to talk to Hangman in like an episode of BTE like a long time ago, and he saw him happy with his friends, and he didn't want to ruin it. And then he kind of just like walked away. But the parallels between that, noticed immediately. I was like, oh, they, if it's one thing about elite fans, they're going to pick up on little things.
and it's like, we're like trained to do it. Like I said this on Twitter. It's like the elite will make a callback to something that happened like 8 years ago and expect you to get it. And like, you have to get it. So it's like elite fans have like weird photographic memories of everything the elite have ever done. And it's like the smallest little details. Like I would say that like I'm pretty mild with it. There's like Haley and like some other people are like
Charlie, she's really good with it. She does like analysis tweets all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, she's really good. She's got a great
like it's insane. And like that's what you have to do to survive as an elite fan. Like you just
we're in the trenches, okay?
Like, you just have to. It's like, okay, could you get the story of Hangman and Kenny Omega without, being a psychopath about it? Sure. But like, are you going to enjoy it a lot more if you're crazy and unhinged? Yes. So like, why would you be?
Like us and Charlie that do podcasts and stuff and are chronically online to tell you these things so you don't have to do it yourself.
Listen, and then that's my job. And you know what? I like it. I'm a Kenny Omega girly through and through. I love that man. But like that was the end of Dynamite. And Hangman has an eye patch, by the way. And he looks really good. He looks healthy and happy and fashionable and stylish. But I'm really Matt Jackson being like not mad at Kenny Omega for not telling him that he knew about the nod, but Matt Jackson being like a little bit irritated that this entire time he's been stressed. I wonder if like that's going to be fuel for like a later Dark Order feud or something. I would be totally into it. And also Kenny Omega calling Matt Jackson Man Jackson was really funny. I loved that. It's just overall like the storytelling is just so great, and I'm so excited. And this is like the thing that I'm most excited about headed into Double or Nothing. And also Tony Khan was on Being the Elite, and Tony Khan hasn't been on Being the Elite. It's been so long.
Yeah, when Brandon, before he had gone out, because there was a clip on Twitter after the show where he came out and gave them drinks and stuff, and they cheers in the ring. But he included a clip of him backstage, and Tony Khan just showed up and was talking about beer, and he was like, "I know who this is for." It was something. It was really something.
Last time, like I'm probably like totally wrong, but the last time I remember Tony Khan being on Being the Elite, it's like this very specific scene. The Elite are like in the lobby of a hotel, and they're making fun of Kenny Omega for wearing New Japan gym shorts, and like the camera just cuts to Tony, and Tony's like shaking his head. Tony Khan needs to be. I don't think he needs to be on screen. But I mean, now he is on screen because all the Collision people are like, going into his office and demanding a spot on Collision.
Oh my gosh.
This Collision show is so much drama. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. It's just like drama city. But yeah, the Elite are like my favorite thing headed into this Double or Nothing. But like past Double or Nothings, we got some bangers.
And when I presented this idea to Kiley, and I was kind of going through my list and stuff last night, I was like, wow, like most of my matches are Young Bucks matches. And like, I shouldn't be surprised, but I guess I kind of was. But you know what? I can't help that they've had great matches at the pay-per-view.
They're great wrestlers. Like, but like you should totally feel bad about it, Haley. You're totally just a mark.
Yep, absolutely. You know, they pay me to
we're shills. Shills for Tony Khan. If I was a shill for Tony Khan, I would expect AW Fight Forever for free. I'm putting the energy out there. If AW wants, I will play AW Fight Forever and tell everybody to buy it.
Listen, we'll do a whole special on Tag Talk. Kiley versus me. We'll do like a tag team thing. There you go.
Two girls who like don't play video games.
I think it'd be great.
He's playing a Peppa Pig game. It's good. He's whatever. But yeah, so the game was like announced. The release date is June 29th, which is like around Forbidden Door. Which Forbidden Door, we're gonna have to do like a Tag Talk special about Forbidden Door or something, because now Aussie Open is like out.
I'm so sad about it. I feel so bad for Mark. But I think it opens up a lot of opportunity for Kyle to get in some singles stuff. And, you know, why not have him win against Orange Cassidy now? I'm just saying.
Well, and like it kind of throws out my whole plan for salvaging the AW World Tag Team Championship match. I had a plan that I thought was like really good. After that, like this match, which was FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, which is garbage. My plan was that Aussie Open would be there and it would like an angle would salvage the time. But now I just think that it's just gonna be FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. And maybe they could put the Acclaimed in that spot and like I don't know. We talked about this a couple episodes.
Maybe that's why we got the Elite so early though. Like Tony was like, okay, we gotta pull the trigger on something and we're gonna bring Hangman back early. We're gonna sell some tickets, and then we're gonna have a big surprise. I hope that's what happens. I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
But I'm manifesting, you know?
I'm manifesting. I almost just said something absolutely horrible about the AW tag title picture.
We got enough flat, Kiley. We don't need to revisit that.
Let's move on and let's talk about our favorite Double or Nothing memories. If you guys want to submit a super chat with your favorite Double or Nothing memory, it could be a tag team match, it could be any kind of match, it could be an angle, whatever. We just want to have some Double or Nothing fun that isn't just going down the card and saying, what our saying what our predictions are, because we don't need to do that, I don't think. So
there's enough of that, you know, some really good prediction shows and stuff, I'm sure.
So my first one is from Double or Nothing last year, I think. Yeah, last year. And it's a trios match. It's House of Black versus Death Triangle. And listen,
I had that on my list too, so I'm so glad you brought it up.
listen, this match was so good. It was on my match of the year list. Yeah, you can have that. It was on my match of the year list. I really missed Death Triangle though. Like I was going through the cards from previous Double or Nothings, and I was like, man, Death Triangle was really good. And like they, they did the whole thing with Ray Phoenix and Pac with the hammer, and like there's a little tension there, but like they haven't revisited it. Not even with the Lucha Bros. The Lucha Bros are just in Ring of Honor doing tag team stuff on their own. I don't know what the situation is with Pac. But Death Triangle was so good. And I feel like House of Black was really at a high point here. Which is ironic because now like they're barely on TV, even though they're trios champions. But this match was really, really good. I need to go back and like maybe catalog House of Black over their AEW career and like see where they're going wrong, because they're trios champs now, but it's like it's just Julia, essentially.
Yeah. And I felt like this match, I liked it for a couple reasons. I liked that there was a lot of action involved in it. I feel like in 6-man sometimes a lot of people can get lost, but I felt like they really paced it well. But I also really liked that Brody King didn't stick out like a sore thumb. Like sometimes when you have like, really big guys in a match and they're the only one, there's a lot of focus on them. But I felt like they didn't really do that there. And I liked that he was just kind of there menacingly, but wasn't like the focal point of the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think he really holds his own. I think Brody, because he is such a big guy, people expect him to do big guy stuff. But I think he's like one of those big men that's surprisingly athletic. And when you're in a match with Death Triangle, and your partners are Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews, like you got to be athletic to hang with that group. And I think he did.
And he was pulling out the stops,
yeah. And I thought that was really good. I really love House of Black, and I think about like their match with the Elite, and I don't know why we haven't done it again. Why House of Black, I guess, haven't. I'm trying not to be controversial. Why House of Black haven't had a good feud like that, like they had with Death Triangle and with the Elite. Why we're in a place where everybody's just kind of scattered, and the trios and the tag divisions are like in rough spots right now. But yeah, this match to me was really, really good. We have a super chat from Chaz who says Cody versus Dustin 2019, my favorite match ever. Yeah, that's definitely a classic. I think 2019 Double or Nothing, I think it holds up. I mean, match quality wise, I think there's some that are rough around the edges because the talent, they needed time to train and progress and learn and all that kind of stuff, which they are now. But that match was incredible. And it's funny because Dustin bled so much. And I feel like if that match happened now, people would be like, oh, AW in their blood.
Literally, they would. They literally would. Like, they got away with it. And I like that match. I put it up with it's in my number one spot on that pay-per-view with another match that we'll talk about in a minute, but I really like that match. I thought it was great.
And I also really like I think they're on Being the Elite. They might be on like the AW channel. The promos leading up to it, Cody being like, I gotta put my brother like out to pasture, which is ironic because Dustin is still wrestling. He's not out to pasture at all. But I remember the sort of the discourse at the time was that this was a feud that probably should have happened in WWE and didn't. And AW is giving it its like due time and everything. And I really liked that. And like, this was such a long time ago, but I'm like, the gears are turning. And I remember at the time being like, I was like rooting really hard for Dustin. Like, I was like, show him. We can beat up Cody, get rid of him.
Well, I feel like especially because like, Cody was on such a high at that time, take him down a couple notches, I was all for Dustin too. I don't care. I have my thoughts about Cody, and everybody knows. So.
I don't think we've ever like addressed Cody that much on this show, but like I have mixed feelings. But anyway, I'll toss the ball to Haley and let Haley give us another match from her list.
I did want to mention before we transitioned. Hold on, I got a cough again. This is
a good show. We're doing good.
Really, sorry, guys. That water almost killed me. I did want to talk about Julia though, because she did officially turn 1 year ago, and I feel like, well, at Double or Nothing, but I feel like her transition since then has been so good. And I know we talk about it a lot, but I want to talk about it again.
I love Julia.
Me too. I love her like dark Stevie Nicks vibe. I don't know. I think it fits her so well. The music, the gear, her entire presentation, I just feel is so good.
And I really do think she adds a lot to the House of Black.
Mm-hmm.
I think like she's obviously young and she wrestles like she's young. She has improved a lot. I will give her that. But there's something so special about her witchy vibes. Like, and I
it's
don't
not
know
or anything. It really, she pulls it off really well.
Yeah,
I feel like the cheerleader stuff was a little like hokey for me.
She's just a great actress.
She is.
She's just a very talented person. And the cheerleader stuff was fun with the Varsity Blondes, but I'm glad she's in House of Black.
Yeah, I think she made a really good transition over. Yeah. Oh Lord. Oh no. Whenever it goes silent, I get so worried.
No, we're fine. My nephew wanted to show me something on his Peppa Pig game.
Oh.
Which, I mean, we're like halfway through the show, so I'll just remind you all again. My 4-year-old nephew is feet away. So if you hear Peppa Pig game or Lil Simsy playing Animal Crossing on the TV, I'm very sorry. But this is just, we're going to have to live with.
Don't apologize for it. It's fine.
No, I love my nephew. I'm not apologizing. I'll be controversial. I don't care. But yeah, Julia Hart is a star.
Period.
So,
not to get that out of the way. I mentioned it a little bit ago, but I wanted to talk about the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros for the AAA titles at Double or Nothing 2019. I love that match. One of my favorite tag matches. I think it's so good. I think that it was important to the development of the AEW tag division, but I also think it was important to the development of the feud between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros, which obviously an iconic feud, wrestling soulmates, incredible. I love this match.
And I feel like we don't give enough credit to the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros for that feud that lasted. It was Double or Nothing. It was Fight Forever, Fight for the Fallen. What was the other one? Fighter Fest, leading up to AWTV. And I feel like that feud, if you go back and you look, it was like one of the only strong, like long-term quote unquote feuds that AEW had at the time. And they were building stuff that was going to happen on TV. They were building Riho, Nyla Rose. They were building Pac and Hangman. But those two teams really actually did carry that summer and got hype going for TV. And I feel like retrospectively, we don't give them enough credit for that. I feel like they really built the foundation of what AEW is going to be, and they really set the standard. Like, not just this is the tag team wrestling that we're going to have on AEW, but like this is the kind of stories and, you know, the kind of attention to detail that you can find on AEW TV. And I feel like a lot of other talent really rose to that level as each show went on before debuting on TNT. So I love that match for that reason. I also think the Young Bucks did a lot, not just in that match, but in, the subsequent matches to get the Lucha Bros over, because fans knew who the Lucha Bros were. Most fans, I should say, but some fans hadn't seen them. Some of the fans hadn't seen them since like Lucha Underground or like some Mexican shows and things like that. So it was really important that the Young Bucks took these guys and proved that they're just as good as the Young Bucks. And I think they really did that. And the 2019 match in particular shows a lot of that.
Yeah, and I like the story that they told in this match as well. Like, the Bucks being really rusty because they took time off, but the Lucha Bros, they've been tagging with each other for a bit after doing all their singles stuff. So they were a lot stronger of a team, just with their kind of consistency wrestling. But I really liked the story that they kind of told there with the two of them. And people like to say the Young Bucks can't tell stories, but I think they tell great stories. So
I don't know how you watch the Young Bucks wrestle and you don't think they tell a story. Like, even just within a match, I feel like they do a lot. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's just because I'm like conditioned to look for that. Like we were saying earlier, like elite fans, you're conditioned to look for things. And maybe that's, we can argue whether that's a good thing or a bad thing at another time. But the Young Bucks do tell stories. Kenny Omega tells stories. The Lucha Bros tell stories. It's just you have to use your brain and look for it. Like, they're not going to, like, yell the story in the match. Like, oh, no, my back hurts. Like, I'm sorry.
So, but yeah, I really liked kind of the storytelling that they did in this match too, and I feel like commentary did a really good job of kind of talking about, the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks and their kind of story and everything. And I know they had like a really good like video package and stuff that went along with it that also did a lot. But I don't know, I just feel like all around it was a really good match.
My next match is maybe a little bit controversial.
No.
Well, no, I think you'll like it, but I know that a lot of people didn't. So mine is the Stadium Stampede from 2020. It was the Elite versus the Inner Circle, not the JAS. And yes, I really liked the Inner Circle, which the Inner Circle was still around by the next Double or Nothing, by the way. Just saying, totally unnecessary. I know I chose this match not because I thought it was like stellar. I chose this match because I think it's very critical, and there's a lot of interesting things that happen for the Elite story. Mm-hmm. The Inner Circle's just there. Like, they're not totally part of this. But I went back and I had watched this match recently, like a couple weeks ago, and it's really interesting. At the time when I watched it, I didn't see the things that they were doing to tell the Elite story later on. I didn't see the Kenny and Hangman bond. I didn't see a lot of that. But now it's like hindsight is 2020. I see it. And if this Stadium Stampede hadn't happened, I don't think Hangman rises to the star power he does in 2021. Because I think the Kenny Hangman tag run was important, but I think the storytelling of a Stadium Stampede match, which I don't think you can replicate the magic of this match. Like, the next 2021 was like not good. Anarchy in the Arena is fun, but I really enjoyed it, and the stadium is fun. The Hangman on the horse was fun.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara getting chased in the golf cart, that was great. Like,
Sammy Guevara, who's now a babyface.
Anyway.
And I know it's controversial because I know a lot of people hate Stadium Stampede and they hate Anarchy in the Arena. They think they're like gimmicky and annoying and all that. And I get that perspective. But for me, like, just as an Elite fan, I feel like there's so much going on there that I had to put it on my list.
No, I agree. And I'm glad that you included it because I was thinking about it. We didn't talk about matches we were putting on our list. This is kind of a surprise to me. But I was like, should we talk about like Anarchy in the Arena and like Stadium Stampede? Like, are we going to include them? And I didn't, but I'm glad that you did. So we had a reason to talk about it.
Well, the next 2021 Stadium Stampede is Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. And I don't want to talk about that. So moving on.
Another match that I had on my list was the Young Bucks versus Eddie Mox.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
When you pause there, I was like, wait, did that happen at Double or Nothing, or am I wrong? I almost had a heart attack.
No, I had to think about it. I was like, that happened? And I was like, oh, it did. Oh my God, so good.
I watched it last night, like, just to get a refresher. So good. I love that, like, they really leaned into their, like, rich, like, heel persona with the shoes. Still my favorite thing is them getting their Dior stolen, and that being like the final straw. Like, okay, we need to get our shoes back, and we have to kick their asses to do it. So we'll do it.
It's so good. And this is like the Young Bucks can take a story that's like super goofy, like the shoes, and make it meaningful. Like you watch them with their shoes and you genuinely believe like those are their prized possessions. Like that's their heart in a shoe.
Yeah. And I just look like I spent 10 grand on a pair of shoes. Like it'd be pretty important to me too, you know?
I mean, yeah. Was it those shoes that ended up getting stolen?
Yeah, Matt's got stolen. And then Dana had to buy him a new pair. Yeah.
I hope whoever stole them is watching this.
Me too.
I don't know why. I just hope that they are. Oh my god. But that match really was good. I think the Eddie Kingston John Moxley stuff kind of gets overshadowed by the botched barbed wire death match ending with the explosions. I think a lot of people forget like how emotional the build up to Eddie and Moxley coming back together was. So I'm glad you included that because one, I forgot the match happened. And and also now it reminds me Eddie is in Ring of Honor, but he like has a hernia or something. He got like some surgery for it. And Moxley's of course in the BCC. I would like to see them revisit that with Mox as the heel and Eddie as the babyface. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I do too, but I also kind of wanted to talk about their like clash of styles in this match because we don't see a lot of like the Young Bucks going against like brawlers like this. Like, you know, we see it with the Briscoes. We saw it here. We've seen it a couple other times. But we don't see it a ton. And so I really liked it. I like that they brought kind of their own scrappy style to it as well, along with the high flying stuff. I thought it worked really together.
Oh no. You cut out for a second and I don't know.
Oh,
maybe it's me. Maybe like my Wi-Fi's bad. But you like cut out and I was like, no. But no, I definitely agree. I think I don't know, there's something special. So like the Young Bucks when they wrestle the Lucha Bros, I feel like you know what you're going to get. But I feel like when the Young Bucks wrestle people with different styles, like Mox and Eddie or like Hangman and Kenny, I feel like I don't know, they wrestle a little different. And I love when the Young Bucks are like tested. Like I love when they're under duress.
Yes. I like that they're adaptable too, because I feel like a lot of people when they watch a Young Bucks match, they're like, well, you watch one Young Bucks match, you've seen them all. But like, that's not always the case, you know? And I like that they prove people wrong. As they should.
Haley is a Young Bucks girly.
I really am.
You love the Young Bucks.
Listen, if you guys don't know that by now, I don't know what to tell you. These are by my side every single week. If you don't know that about me, well, now you do. I don't know where I was going with that.
I was like, okay. I wanted to give an honorable mention to. It's on the same card as the match you talked about. It didn't make it to my favorite list though. Sting and Darby Allin versus Men of the Year. I love that match. One, because I like Sting and Darby as a tag team, but also just because I miss Men of the Year. Like Scorpio and Ethan Page, to me, had the potential to be like champions, like tag champions. They broke them up, and now Ethan Page is doing like firm stuff and like not for me. None of that is for me. But I like this match, and I also was deluded into thinking that the Men of the Year were going to be special.
No, I feel the same way. I was really intrigued by the match with Sting and Darby mostly because, you know, Sting is Sting, and he doesn't have to come in a match like this and, you know, like do crazy things. Like, he's Sting. He could just get into the ring and punch somebody, and it's, like, fantastic. But, I mean, he was doing jumps and, like, all this stuff, and, like, man, you're, like, 60 years old and you can still go. That's crazy.
Man, you're like 60 years old and you can still go. No, I love Sting. I have always been kind of on my agenda that I feel like Darby should turn on Sting and that Sting's retirement match should be Darby. I I don't know if they're going to go that way, but I always thought that that'd be fun. But regardless, I feel like this is an underrated tag team match, and I miss Men of the Year. I don't know what happens. Like,
I know, and then Ethan was kind of getting that push for a second there, and then like that just died out too. Oh man,
I don't know.
Ethan Page.
And Ethan Page, like he had like recently that feud with Matt Hardy, but like nothing really came of it. And like I don't enjoy the firm, and I don't enjoy like these weird business factions that AW keeps making, like the Hardy family office, and then like it was the Andrade family office and the firm, and like Smart Mark Sterling is somehow involved with everything, and like I'm not into it, and I don't know why AW keeps doing it. And like it always ends up with someone's contract being bought by like a presumably wealthier talent.
Yeah.
And like I don't enjoy that. I'm like, please stop.
I don't either. It's not really for me, you know, but hey. I also wanted to talk about, I'm pretty sure this happened at Double or Nothing. Hausen, right? We wrestled with Double or Nothing, right?
You talk about that. I'll be right back. Someone's knocking on my door.
Oh. This is okay. Well, all right. I love that Danhausen is a little icon. You know, but I was just gonna say that I'm pretty sure Hookhausen wrestled at Double or Nothing, right, guys? Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, she's back. I got 3 words in.
I ran.
Who was it?
Colby, my sister.
Okay.
But
I was just talking about Hookhausen, and
I need you guys to know that I didn't set it as Danhausen. Someone at Fightful sets it as Danhausen.
It was perfect because you went off, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect for what I'm talking about right now."
I literally ran to the door and I unlocked it. And I was like, "Oh, thank God!" It's not like if it was like pest control or like my landlord or something. I'd be like, "Oh God, like can you come back another time?" Because like I got
30 minutes.
I got like I'm live. Like I can't do like in my head, like the first thing I thought was, "Oh, DoorDash." I didn't order DoorDash. I was like, "What?"
Oh, but
you're talking about Hookhausen?
Yeah,
is that the Smart Mark Sterling match?
Yeah, Tony Nese.
Another faction I hate. Smart Mark Sterling with Tony Nese. Oh my God.
It wasn't a favorite match of mine, but I just wanted to mention it because of Hookhausen, and I will take any chance I can get to talk about them. So
I miss Hookhausen.
I do too.
Do you remember like the build up to Hookhausen becoming a thing was so like we were obsessed with it, Haley.
We were. And like the Jungle Hook too. Like, why are you taking these things away from us, Tony? Like, why are you taking away our happiness? I don't understand.
I don't know. And like to me, Danhausen finally winning over Hook, that should be like a lifelong thing.
Yes.
But then it wasn't. Like they bonded and then they were like, "Oh, bye." And then Jungle Hook
to revisit it.
I know. I feel like the bond there. Like there's something there. And with Danhausen, he's in the best friends, but I don't feel the bond. Like it's Chuck Taylor and Dan. Yeah. Is Chuck Taylor and Danhausen comparable to Hookhausen? No. Like there's no one in Best Friends that gives Hook energy. So like there's something so special about Hook and Danhausen. And I guess I just miss Danhausen. But I mean, heal up. Come back when you're ready. But when you're ready, come back with Hookhausen is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Like nothing else. Nothing else. CM Punk, you want to come back and like do stuff with CM Punk? No, Hook. Hook first.
Hook is the priority, okay?
Hook needs something. Like Hook, he can't just keep doing these random FTW title matches. And this is a total tangent, but I'm going on it. He keeps doing these FTW.
So
yeah, and he's never given anything really substantial, not since he like first debuted. So Danhausen coming back and trying to win him over again, and then them winning, like, I don't know, like the AW World Tag Team Championships would be a lot of fun.
And like, it wouldn't even have to be that long of a reign or anything, but I feel like fans would love to see that.
Yeah. Tony Khan, listen, I'm not asking for much. Hookhausen was great.
You really had something there.
And I do think Hook is still kind of special because he doesn't wrestle that often. And when he does, like, it's, normally a really great match. Mm-hmm. But he needs something. Like, it's about time that he, like, takes the next step up. So, Caden, isn't Danhausen still out for a while? That's why I said heal up.
Yeah, Caden, open your ears.
Yeah, are you watching the show or not? Apparently not. Someone knocked on my door. I ran and still made it back with full knowledge of what's happening, Caden. So
exactly. So you have no excuses, Caden.
No excuses. That probably sounded so bad to someone who doesn't know that we Caden. Someone's watching this like, wow, they're like in the chat. Kyle says, if you're asking for something, how about a best friend's title run? Look, we
talk about it all the time.
Yeah, every week.
We're like, why haven't the best friends won the tag team championships? Where are the best friends? Why aren't they every week?
Orange Cassidy is doing like great stuff, but I can't deny that I feel like best friends as tag champs or best friends with someone as trios champs or something along those lines. I feel like it's more than deserved. It's like comical at this point how underrated the best friends are. Yeah. I can't remember if, you gave was the Hookhausen match your pick or was that an honorable mention?
It was just an honorable mention.
Okay, so now it's my turn. So mine, oh my God, I closed my list. My next one, I don't remember what Double or Nothing this was. Just throwing that out there. I think it was last year. And it was Jurassic Express versus Swerve in Our Glory versus, oh my God, I'm unplugging things, versus Team Taz. Team Taz, that's another one. What happened to Team Taz?
They was doing so well. And I think like everybody's doing really good stuff on their own. So, but I still miss Team Taz.
I know, and I feel like the dissolution, like the Brian Cage stuff, didn't go to plan. Because people booed Brian Cage and they weren't supposed to. And then I feel like the Ricky Starks Powerhouse Hobbs feud was great, but I feel like it was really rushed and it was just over. And Ricky's doing other stuff now and Hobbs is doing other stuff. But I wish that they would like come back together. And I miss Taz doing his, I don't remember what he called it. Technique by Taz, where he would like show, but this match, so it was Jurassic Express with Christian Cage. So it's Jungle Boy Christian Cage breakup, which Christian Cage is another match I'm looking forward to, this Double or Nothing. So I should throw that out there. I love Christian Cage. I love his turtleneck. I love that man. I've been in love with that man for like 20 years. Okay. And I will watch anything he's in if he's wearing that turtleneck, just saying. I also Swerve in Our Glories. I think people
forget. Okay, when you brought up this match, I was like, oh, Jurassic Express, like that was only last year, and like they were still tag champions, right? It feels like that was a lifetime ago.
Yeah, because I feel like the tag division like moves fast in AW, but if you look at like, okay, Luchasaurus and Christian Cage are still together, but like Jungle Boy has done so much since this match. And just an intermission, a super chat from Gibro says, do you miss 2.0 as much as I do? Fun time. Yeah. We talked about that a little bit last week. 2.0 kind of getting lost in the JAS shuffle behind Anna Jay and, now Ty Mello and Sammy, who are baby faces. I wish 2.0, even if you had to have Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal in the World Tag Title match at Double or Nothing, I feel like you could have thrown another team in there like Best Friends or like 2.0. And I feel like the excitement for it would be way more than it is just FTR and Jarrett and Lethal. But that's just like my opinion. I think fans like 2.0, especially when they get a mic and they can actually do stuff. So, but back to Swerve in Our Glory. I feel like that is another dissolution story that kind of didn't go the way that I wanted it to be. And I don't know if like they're going to come back to it as a feud or if they're going to reunite them. Like Swerve is another one. I'm not really that into his faction either. Sorry. I know people like the
Listen, if it's not for you, it's not for you, you know. Wrestling.
I just don't like these like these businessmen. I'm like
we hate capitalism here. We don't want capitalism in our wrestling, okay?
I don't like these suits in my wrestling. I want Kenny Omega in his anime tights. And I want the Young Bucks with their bedazzled headbands and their long hair. And I want Hangman with his eye patch. Like, is that too much to ask for? Why is everyone buying each other? They're like, look at these hired muscle. Like, you don't even know his name. He's so obscure. I still don't know that man's name. I know the one. I don't know the other one. And they're like cutting back, like they're cutting like alley deals with each other. They're like shaking on it like a briefcase of money. Like, let me borrow your guy. Like, where's Tony Khan? Like, Tony Khan is letting people trade. Like, and he's making nothing off of it. Like, I don't understand the business dynamics of AEW, I guess.
It's a lot.
I didn't know I was so opinionated about this until right now.
I love it because you know what? You were saying exactly what I was thinking too, and I didn't even know I was thinking it. So,
and MJF like buys everyone. He just has like endless funds to like pay everyone to do whatever he wants. Like, wouldn't Tony Khan be like, "No, you're done. Like, if you do it again, you're gone."
Cut them off.
Like MJF is world champion because he has money. Like, there's problems there. Kate says, "Kindly, where are your Post-its? I need to buy some Post-its. I've been out of. Do you ever like? And Kate probably relates because she has ADHD too. Do you guys ever like buy Post-its or like something and it changes your life and you're so much more organized and then you run out and you forget to rebuy and then you just never do it?"
Yes. You know those like those ones that are like kind of transparent that you can like put in books and stuff?
Yeah.
Those changed my life. I color code every single one of my books. And then I ran out and I didn't buy any. And I need to.
Because like you just forget. That's where I'm at with Post-its. I run out and then like out of sight, out of mind. Like I don't have like maybe I need like, you know, when you're a kid and everybody was like, "Oh, tie a ribbon on your finger and you'll remember."
I post it to your finger.
Yeah, and I'll remember.
Perfect.
I love this. Craps on Tap says the contract buyouts and business factions are way too common in AW. They all suck too. They've all got lawyers and weird match stipulations and mismatched members, terrible television. Yeah, why is Smart Mark Sterling everybody's lawyer?
No, literally, he's the people's lawyer. I swear.
And it's so weird. Like if you're backstage and you're like, "Man, I really want to win this match. I need to get Smart Mark Sterling to negotiate a contract with like Wardlow or like Ethan Page, and then I'll win." Like I'm just not vibing with it, guys.
It's not for me either.
There's firm stuff now, which I'm not sure I completely understand. Stokely like staging a revolution or something. I was not entirely following. I was like, Stokely,
do you ever just like hear somebody talk about wrestling and then like you're listening to them talk about it and you're like, wow, that sounds insane? Because you saying that like, wow, that really sounds crazy. And like, no wonder my friends who don't watch wrestling and I like try to talk to them about it or explain these things look at me like I have 5 heads.
And like people in the chat are saying he's the wrestling lawyer. Companies get lawyers, they use them. I understand. His name is Smart Mark Sterling, Esquire. I understand his character. I'm saying it's absurd that some people are able to leverage him to get wins and some people just don't even try. Like it's a plot hole. It doesn't make sense to me. Like if I could be MJF simply by paying Smart Mark Sterling to pay people to get me to win, I'd do it.
As you should.
I would. If I'm Saraya and I want to beat Jamie Hayter, I'm hiring Smart Mark Sterling.
If that's all it takes.
Yeah. And I should. You know what? I'm going to go train to be a wrestler. I'm going to make it AEW, and I'm going to hire Smart Mark Sterling so that I could beat Jamie Hayter.
That sounds like a plan. You know what? You uncovered the plot hole. You found the weak link, and you're like, you know what? Now I'm going to capitalize, and you're smart for that. So,
And then when Stokely Hathaway fails at his coup, I'm going to stage the next coup. And I'm going to overtake Tony Khan.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to give him probation and let him run AEW, because running Dynamite and Collision with that drama is not for me. I'm going to run Ring of Honor. And do it.
You should. I truly believe that.
I don't remember where we got there.
We were talking about the Jurassic Express.
Oh, we were talking about Christian.
Yeah.
Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. I'm glad they moved on from Christian Jungle Boy, because that, I feel like the coffin match was great, and then I'm glad they ended it. I don't really like what Jungle Boy's doing now, because I'm not into the 4 pillars thing. Like, I'm not entirely sold on it.
Yeah. I
think the match will be great. I think they'll sell me on it, and I'll come away happy. But Christian, I love that man. I think he is so good as a heel. And Luchasaurus is so good just standing there. Like, just
not even doing anything. He doesn't have to do anything. Just him.
It reminds me, and I tweeted this like a few weeks ago, that my guilty pleasure is like old Kane and Undertaker, like from the 90s and like early 2000s. It reminds me of Kane when he first debuted, and he had the full face mask with the hair, and like one arm was missing on his little outfit, his little thing.
On here too.
Yeah, but he was like jacked at that time, like the most jacked he's ever been. That gives me Luchasaurus, evil Luchasaurus energy. I'm so into it. And I don't know what all this lawsuit is about Luchasaurus's mask. I don't know what's going on there. But I think Luchasaurus being evil is best for Luchasaurus. And I think it's best for AEW. So I'm super into it.
I love the new direction. Like you said, I don't know. I'm not really sold on Jungle Boy. But I think that the match at Double or Nothing will probably change my opinion. So.
Listen, not to change the subject too much, but who do you think is going to win the 4 pillars match?
I feel like it's not even like a 4 pillars match. Like, people only really care about MJF and Darby. So really it's like a 1v1, and Jungle Boy and Sammy are just there. So I don't know. Does MJF retain? I don't know.
It feels like every week since the 4 pillars thing became a thing, they've tried a new angle to get people to enjoy it more. And after this week, it's very much like Jungle Boy, Sammy, and Darby are on the same page against MJF, and MJF is scared. And that's the angle we're probably going to end up going with at Double or Nothing. But for me, like, I don't buy that Sammy is suddenly a good guy and willing to work with Jungle Boy and Darby. So I'm almost hoping we get into the match and he's actually secretly been paid by MJF, or decides he wants to side with MJF, because I think that adds more to it instead of 3-on-1 when it's 3 baby faces and a heel.
Yeah.
Like, that's backwards. So I think they probably are going to do something interesting like that. I'm most into Darby. I think their biggest misstep was letting them all have a mic. And I'm not saying that Jungle Boy and Sammy are bad on the mic, but I think compared to Darby and MJF, there's a skill gap. And I think it did them a disservice. I think MJF wins, though.
Yeah, I think he retains.
Especially if Punk comes back.
Oh, yeah. They definitely have to run that back. But I feel like Jungle Boy's had moments where I've been like, okay, there's potential there. Like, he's not that bad. But other times I'm like, I'm not sold on him yet. I think he has a little bit of work to do. But I think he'll get there. Sammy, though, I don't know. I don't know what to do with Sammy, but he needs a restart and a refresh.
And I think he needs to get away from Jericho. I feel like he should have gotten away from Jericho a long time ago. And I don't know what you do with him. Like, do you keep him with Ty Mello? Do you put him in a tag team? Because I feel like his next feud is Daniel Garcia. Maybe not for Forbidden Door, maybe like for later.
Yeah.
But I don't see like a path to get there, because Daniel Garcia is going to be cheered because he's becoming a pro wrestler. He's growing up. So I don't know where Sammy fits. Like, it's such a weird situation. I don't know what to do. I feel like it's just the 4 pillars thing has messed up a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah, and when I feel like we've talked about it on the show, maybe like last year or so, or a couple months ago, and we were talking about how we would love to see that match, and how excited we would be for it. But I feel like now that we're getting it, like there's just a lot to be desired in it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's because of the booking of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just
The booking of most of this pay-per-view is but
there's, like I said earlier, and this is probably like because we're over an hour, this is probably like a good thing to finish on. I'm really excited about the Elite match.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be really good. I'm really excited to see where the story goes from here because reconciliation cannot just be reconciliation. There has to be another chapter. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited for Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited cautiously for for both women's matches.
Yeah.
I'm trusting Tony Khan to do the right thing with those matches. And I don't think that's a good idea, but I'm going to be cautious about it. And I think Jade should drop her title. And I think I don't know. I think they have to have time. Like, I don't think you should put Jade and Taya on the buy-in, the 0 hour, whatever it's called now. But then at the same time, I'm like, are people going to be into it? Is it going to like be just a dead space on the show? I don't know. But I feel like it's time now to stop waiting for Chris Statlander. As much as that breaks my heart, I feel like we got to go.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily feel like it's Jade's fault at all. It's definitely a booking issue. But she definitely needs to drop the title and move to something else. Whether that's to Japan, like she's talked about wanting to do, or something else somewhere in the women's division. She just needs something else.
Yeah. And, maybe, there's been like no news about Chris Stat in a long time. Maybe she's returning soon and maybe we get like a cool.
Well, she's on the road with them, isn't she? Again?
Yeah, but I don't know where her knee is at. Because I think because it's her second major knee injury back to back, they're probably being cautious about it and taking their time and doing all the things that they're supposed to do. So I'm not sure. And I could be wrong, but I don't think anyone's really like reported that she's coming back soon. I don't really know.
Watch us be wrong. Watch her come back. All of this is irrelevant. It's like the swerve. Like
she just like shows up at Double or Nothing, and I'm like, oh, I take it back. Like that was dumb. Like, I'm an idiot. But the rest of it. Oh, hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
I literally have nothing to contribute. I just like you guys. I wanted to come up here.
Kate, we love you.
I just like needed a break from work, and I was like, I'm gonna go on Tag Talk and make it trios talk and ruin their lives.
No, you're always welcome.
You could never ruin our lives. Okay.
Never.
I mean, that sounds like a challenge, but
please don't.
It wasn't.
I won't. There's so many people on the list ahead of you guys.
That's ominous. Like I have a running list. It's like a point system.
Like, there's a lot. It's rankings. It's the rankings are coming back, and it's in me not liking people. That's what's up.
You know what? Kate's weekly hatred rankings. I'd be into it.
I would.
Yeah, I feel like it would pull numbers.
Just Dr. Phil, but it's just Kate talking to people.
That's it.
Kate with
There's a lot of dorks on the internet, man. There's a lot of people to get through.
Oh, I know. It's just getting worse. Like Twitter it's spiraling. The amount of spam I get every day is just absurd. It's just
oh my god, it's just crypto and OnlyFans people in my DMs.
Lately, I've been getting a lot of people.
I don't get any of these DMs. Like everybody leaves me alone. I don't know.
I've been getting a lot of people who are like, oh, thank you so much for your stock advice. Have you thought about investing in this? And I'm like, what stock advice?
I love that for you.
I don't.
I think you should just start giving errant stock advice, though. I love that idea.
I know nothing about the stock market, Kate. I'll get sued.
Exactly. They're the ones that reached out to you.
Oh, you know what? That's such a good point. And I'll make Elon Musk pay my bills, my lawyer's bills.
There you go.
I think it's good.
Just be like, as someone who knows nothing about this world, here are my thoughts. Just give them.
Invest in Tesla.
Exactly. And there you go. Get a kickback from Elon. What were you guys talking about before we got on here? I was looking for my headphones.
Oh, we were talking about the 4 pillars match and the angle and like our issues with the booking. Which who do you think is coming out of the 4 pillars match as the winner?
I think MJF retains. I wouldn't be stunned if Darby won.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Like Jungle Boy, to me, Jungle Boy and Sammy are just there. Like I don't think they're adding much, unfortunately.
I feel like Sammy is really lost, which is a bummer. But I think Jungle Boy kind of saying that he just needs gold. He didn't say like that he needs this gold by the end of the year or whatever. It's kind of like, it doesn't make him look weak, but it makes me feel like, okay, there's no urgency for him to win in this story. Mm-hmm. But I like the attempt at what they're doing more than I've liked the execution, I would say. Does that make sense?
That's fair. Yeah. I feel like that's
like they've never done a match set up like this before, which I think is really cool. But like, man, Sammy just feels so lost to me, and it's a bummer. Like they don't know if they want him to be heel or face, or what type of heel or what type of face, and it feels like he's been really just like really lost because it feels like they don't know what they want him to do. Yeah. Do you guys get that feeling too?
100%. I said earlier, I feel like every week there's a new take on the 4 pillars angle, and it's like Sammy just kind of bouncing around. And I don't know where he goes after this. Because if he had been a heel, I think his natural next feud is Daniel Garcia, and you could do something really fun with that. But Daniel Garcia is going to be a babyface. Like people are going to cheer because he's not a sports entertainer anymore. But you can't really just shove Sammy back in the JAS. Like it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, so I don't kind of use like him being Jericho's lackey as a crutch too much. And like if you're saying like these are the 4 pillars of your company, like they should be outgrowing those advisors and like moving on, right? So for the story to make sense, it's almost like he can't go back there. You could do a Jericho Sammy feud if you want him to stay face.
That's true. You could do that. I just don't know where he goes from here. And I feel really bad for Sammy because I think if the Inner Circle had disbanded back when we all thought it should have at Double or Nothing, whatever it was, and the Stadium Stampede match with the Pinnacle, I feel like Sammy would be in a much better spot if they had disbanded then and he wasn't in the JAS. I think he really would have held his own as a singles guy in the same way Darby and MJF had. But he really does feel like a talent who has a lot of potential and just is never going to show it because he's always mixed up with Jericho or he's always doing goofy heel stuff. And then all the stuff with poor Ty Mello and people's insane opinions about that. So he really does need a reset. And it's like the worst time for him to have a reset though, because the next few months for AEW are so crazy with Forbidden Door and All In and All Out and then Grand Slam. So it's like, if it's going to happen, it has to happen kind of fast. And I don't know where they go with him. Like, I don't have any ideas.
Yeah, the concerning thing is it feels like they don't have an idea. Like, to me, and I kind of said this on Wednesday, like, it feels to me like everything got kind of gummed up with his story with him and Scorpio Sky. And then instead of like trying to unlock what happened, they were just like, you're in this new Jericho faction, which is basically the old faction. Like they never like addressed what the root is. And it just feels like all of his promos don't really come from anywhere like super authentic. And I don't mean that as like a dunk on him, but it's like there's nothing that's kind of standout. Like I feel that way with Austin Theory and WWE, where I'm like, I can't say he's a bad promo. I just haven't heard anything that I'm like, oh, like that's where you're at or whatever. Like even when he was like dunking on Darby when he was on the heel side of this feud, he stole Ricky Stark's "I Love Turtles" kid line, and I'm like, you can't steal like somebody else's line like that, especially one that's like that fire that Ricky came out with. So it's just a bummer. I don't pretend I know people's personal lives better than they do. I think that's absurd. You want to marry like the hottest woman in the world who seems lovely, good for you. Like, go for it. It does feel like they don't know whether they want him to be heel or face, and they don't know what type of face or heel they want him to be. Like, I feel like when you're in your home state and not far from your hometown and you're not getting a crowd reaction, that's an alarming sign especially for an AEW crowd, because they go hard for your hometown crowds. So it's a bummer, because I think he's extremely skilled in the ring, and I feel like of all the four pillars, he's the one that they just never, who's not standing. He's not the pillar that's standing. He's like a poor Greek pillar that has been torn away at.
He hasn't had like a really substantial feud that defined a significant amount of his career. Like MJF has had multiple. Yeah. Darby has had more feuds than he probably should have. And he's been TNT champion, and he has Sting. Jungle Boy, I mean, he was a world tag champion. He had a feud with Christian that was really great. He's had a lot of opportunities. But I think because Sammy has always been a Jericho guy, I think a lot of his stuff has just been sort of superficial or centered on Jericho and doing stuff for Jericho. So he's in this spot where they're doing the four pillars match, and like I'm supposed to think that all these guys are equal. But I think there's a clear hierarchy there, and Sammy is at the bottom. Like, he has the least, I guess, proof of concept as the other guys. And it sucks because he shouldn't. Because when AEW first started and he had that match with Kip Sabian, I was like, okay, these are going to be the guys. Yeah. And Kip Sabian has had, his own personal issues, his own injuries and things. But Sammy hasn't done anything with that. And that's absurd to me.
I think the other thing that kind of hurts with this storyline for me is I think MJF and Darby Allin at Full Gear the year before last is one of the most underrated matches in AEW history. I think that was maybe the strongest match of the pay-per-view. It got overshadowed a little bit because you had Punk and Eddie, and you of course had Kenny and Hangman, right? Like, all of that was very, I don't want to say overshadowing, because sometimes when I watch an AEW pay-per-view, I'm like, this is 7 hours of just like nonstop, right? But that match as the opener was so good. It's maybe my favorite match of Darby's was against MJF. And then Jungle Boy and MJF, I think that one of the segments that they had on the mic in this was fantastic, and the way that MJF was putting him over. And like, there was a lot of talk about them being like the buy-in match. And I still remember like that Poison Rana on the apron that was like, they had kind of one of those standout matches. So the fact that MJF and Sammy haven't, like, I think with the I'm going to lay down for you stuff, that was supposed to be like their connection moment and their pivotal turn. And it just hasn't like felt that way. A couple of people in the chat are saying it, like Sammy's ladder with Cody Rhodes was like the biggest moment. And it's true. And that was on a Battle of the Belts on Christmas, right? Like that's kind of like tucked away. You're never going to convince me they care about Battle of the Belts. They truly never have. So, and it just felt like they had the perfect opportunity to double turn Sky and Sammy and never did. So like, where did that go? Doesn't really feel like they capitalized on the momentum, but.
And I feel like, and Sammy brought this up in his promos that he's like a multi-time TNT champion, but I feel like in the fans' mind, a lot of that gets clouded behind the convoluted Cody Rhodes interim championship situation. I feel like a lot of fans have written that off, which is unfortunate because that ladder match was good. And I think Sammy as TNT champion, maybe he wasn't the best TNT champion, but I think they could have done a lot more with him. But then it all got messed up with booking. And I think in the fans' mind that his TNT title runs are not even close to like Darby's, for example. When Darby was TNT champion, he was like the guy. and fans like really believe like, okay, he is a star. And Sammy hasn't had that opportunity.
Samoa Joe was champion for like 10 minutes, and I still feel like his run was awesome. Like it's tough too, because I feel like Sammy kind of, not by any fault of his own, I feel like he kind of plateaued while the grid filled in with like Daniel Garcia and Ricky Starks, and Wardlow got built super hard, even though they didn't really follow up his reign. But like the pieces kind of filled in for what these pillars were supposed to be like anchoring down, and it just and then, obviously, and then you also have your Danielsons and your CM Punks coming in and things like that. So, but I mean, kind of in that younger up and coming crop, more of those pieces filled in. So he's just kind of, he's a little bit waffling. However, I do think that the match is going to be awesome. I like knowing what I love about this is like all four of these guys are so different, right? Like MJF from an in-ring perspective is so traditional, and from a heel perspective is so conniving, and Sammy's super athletic, and Jungle Boy is super athletic, like on a different level. And Darby is just like, I weigh 12 pounds, but I'm going to throw all 12 pounds of my body at you as a weapon, but can also, like, we saw him chain wrestle, right? So it feels like all of them have such a different alley. So I think that the actual match that takes place is going to be so great. And I think in the framework of whatever MJF kind of devises in this is going to be, I think it'll be special. Like, I think it's going to be something that we're talking about, and everybody who has had problems with the build it's going to be one of those ones where you're just like, oh, they outkicked the coverage on the match. I think like it's going to do better.
Fingers crossed.
I think so. I hope so.
I mean, I'm excited for it. There's like a lot of the Double or Nothing card, and I said this earlier that I'm kind of iffy about the tag title match in particular. But I think there's a lot of matches where they can really do a lot of good for people in terms of their standing in the company. I think Jade and Taya is one of those matches where they can really do a lot for the women's division. Will they? I have no idea. Should they? Yes, but it is what it is. And I think the Four Pillars match is like the greatest example of it. I think maybe it's a little bit too early for me to be throwing Sammy in that match, especially because Jericho is wrestling Cole, and I don't know what they're going to do with that. But I hope the JAS breaks up. I want Anna J. Freed. I want 2.0 Freed and Ty Mello, and then we can like move from there. And when Action Andretti beat Jericho, I thought that it was going to happen, and then we would see the culmination of it here. Maybe we still will. I don't know. But Jericho does not need these factions. He just doesn't.
No. And I completely get why you would do it. But I also feel like now I'm just literally interested in what a Jericho singles run looks like, because we literally haven't seen it since the start of the company. Like, what does this guy who's kind of not doing as well, right? Like, he's been a little bit more vulnerable of late. I hate that they dropped the Action Andretti thing, because it feels like, and they can still go back to it, but like the fact that this guy was getting the one up on him, they never really had like a feud between them. Like it pivoted to Starks, and they didn't really go anywhere with it. I think could be really fun. My dream, and I have no idea how close he is, but like if Kyle O'Reilly comes back in that unsanctioned match, that would be the best. I feel like I came in here and now Haley hasn't said a word. She's just like, Kate never shuts up.
No, she just knows that both of us want to talk. So she just gives us the floor. Sometimes like we just get going and like 20 minutes pass.
Just
and
talk. I'm on the clock right now at work, and I was like, I'm just going to come in and interrupt the show. Haley, I used to have the same wall color as you when I was like in my teens.
hate it so much. I've had this since I was like 11, and my mom was like, it's gonna be your room color for the rest of your life, so choose wisely. And I was like, yeah, I want lime green walls, and I hate it.
It took 3 coats of primer. Mine was like even more electric than yours. Yours is like actually the color of a lime. Mine was like neon. It took 3 coats of primer and 2 coats of paint, and my parents will never let me forget it because they were the ones that painted it back before they sold my house when I was at college. So so you guys sound less hyped going into this pay-per-view.
I'm excited about some things. Yeah. I think for me, like, overall, I feel like AEW's on a great run, but there's a lot of stuff going on that I'm just not into. And I feel like a lot of stories that I was into have been dropped or, mishandled. There's like talents like Ricky Starks that I expected to be in a better spot going into Double or Nothing, which to me, I feel like is AEW's second biggest pay-per-view behind All Out. And he's not. And, the Jericho Adam Cole stuff has been salvaged for me, but I'm still like a little bit confused about Adam Cole and like what they're doing with him. The women's stuff, I feel like I'm neutral on it. Like I'm not that into it. The big things I'm excited for though are the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club.
No way.
No way. It's so shocking.
Way. You guys are excited for the Elite?
The Elite could do anything, and I'd be like, yeah, match of the year. It's true. I think
this story's been great. It's to me, it's the best story in wrestling right now. I'm with you on it.
I'm really curious in terms of the Blackpool Combat Club, Danielson, because he was kind of away and he came back and he just decided he was just going to fit into the mold with these other guys who had turned heel. I'm really interested to see where the Blackpool Combat Club goes from there. I wouldn't be mad at Danielson, Moxley too.
Sure.
Some kind of thing with that. But like the vibes with the Blackpool Combat Club are so interesting because Wheeler Yuta, well, Claudio's just there, but Wheeler Yuta is also insane and feral. So he's like the feral stepchild. So I'm really into it. And then also Christian because he's Christian and I love him.
Dude, this Christian run has been so underrated. Like he's doing such fun work. I forget where they were. It was, I think, Detroit. And he was just getting booed out of the building just for existing. I messaged Alex Belowski and was like, is there some wrestling history thing that I don't know about with Christian? Like, was there some match that I don't remember from years I wasn't watching? And I was like, are they just like giving him heat? He was like, they're just giving him heat. He was like, not that I remember, but it was like that kind of heat, like where something had happened. Like it was like if you sent Shawn Michaels to Canada or whatever. Like it was that kind of like personal heat that I was like, for my man Christian, all right, like that rules.
It's the turtleneck. I think we're conditioned to see a black turtleneck.
You know this turtleneck, Kylie.
No, I'm with Kylie on this. Haley Gapzaddy Christian is killing it for me right now.
I love him.
I'm a little older than you guys too, so it's like he's in like not age appropriate crush territory, but not like it's not as weird. It's like he's not my dad's age, but like it's I'm digging Gapzaddy Christian.
It just gives me like Steve Jobs energy or like The Rock. Like, I don't know. Like that one picture if I get.
Oh my god. My only issue with this thing with Christian is I don't at all care about Luchasaurus. Like even a little.
He's just there. Like if he does something interesting, like I don't know what you would do with him, like make him win Christian's matches for him or something. But I did, and I said this earlier, I feel like evil Luchasaurus has a longer way to go than babyface Jurassic Express Luchasaurus. Like I feel like his character direction, there's more places they can go with it. If they turn him babyface again, I don't know. He needs to be a heel and go with it. Like he needs stability. Luchasaurus, he's from a broken home. He was a babyface, then a heel, then a babyface, then a heel. He needs a support system.
He should be with Big Show if he's gonna flip back and forth that much, right? Like he should.
They could make it a thing. They could be like a heel one week and babyface the next. Like they could put that on Collision or something.
Sure, let's do it. That feels rampaging, but I will say, one of our Wednesday night hosts on the Mark Order, he has a son, and I don't know a lot of adults that are like, I love Luchasaurus, but his son was like, wasn't he a good guy? He was like, yeah, but now he's bad, and he was like, I think there's still good in him.
That's so sweet.
I was like, that's who that's for. That's who that is for.
Yeah. There's still good in him.
I think there's still good in him. Such a sweet thing, because
so
that's who
cute.
Luchasaurus is for, right? Like, he's a wrestling dinosaur. But I'm with you on Christian. I'm a little more excited about some of these stories, like in the cycles wrapping up. I'm intrigued to see if there's any big surprises, because I can't think of anybody on the free agent market other than the obvious, right? But I also think, I was thinking the same thing about Starks, and Sean had said, not reported, but had said, not reported, but said, that he thinks like AEW didn't think they were going to get Jay Lethal up until like kind of the last minute. So they didn't really know. They were like, we have to have him debut because everybody is upset that Cody didn't win at Mania. So we're going to capitalize on that. And then they like didn't really know what to kind of do next. I assume with the Juice Robinson angle, they had an idea, right? But he was like, I think I think that why that didn't feel so on solid footing was because they just didn't think they were going to land the guy and thought he was going to WWE, which would track, right? Because it's Ricky Starks, who they've established is important, and Jay Lethal, who we know is important from the free agent market, and neither of them have necessarily felt like super important in this feud. But I do think like there's no way that's not going to be special in the ring, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of into the Bullet Club Gold thing, like this whole Juice Robinson, them coming from New Japan and not being.
I say Jay Lethal and not Jay White.
You did.
Oh,
I
was going to time out some people in the chat because I thought they were ribbing me, and then I was like, I think I said Jay Lethal.
No, but I know what you meant, and that's all that matters.
I meant J Dubs. I just meant J Dubs.
I think it'll be interesting going into like Forbidden Door season, what they do with that. And also, I just think the idea that the Bullet Club is now in like every promotion is so funny.
I hate the Bullet Club Gold name. Did we talk about this already?
Oh, yeah. Well, Bullet Club Gold is like a bad name, but I like Jay White and Juice Robinson together. Like
100%.
I love that.
But it feels like an American Express card, right? That touches me.
Yeah.
It's giving subscription service.
Like, it's giving hotel upgrade. But like a Hilton, not even like where you're like, oh, nice hotel, but not like the fanciest hotel.
Not the hotels that Kylie and I stay in.
Listen, this is like a good segue. One time, Haley and I stayed at a hotel in fake Chicago, Hoffman Estates.
Sure, yeah.
And
not Chicago.
No, yeah, Chicago Light.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed in this hotel, and we broke multiple toilets in this hotel. Not we didn't, or my sister did.
Hold on.
Haley.
That was not me.
Cody. Haley, do you want me to embarrass you publicly and tell the story, or you would just take responsibility?
What type of broken are we talking?
So we got this hotel room. First of all, we were supposed to have 2 queen beds. They were somehow out of it. We had one giant, like California king bed.
Nice. All right.
So, which there were multiple of us in this room, so it worked out fine because we could all just sleep in the bed. But my sister uses the bathroom, somehow breaks the toilet. Then Haley uses the bathroom in the broken toilet. So like she's out of service. She's out of commission. But across the hall was the gym. So we were just using the bathroom in the gym. And then somehow they break that one too.
Kobe broke that one, not me.
So then we were just like peeing in the shower and stuff because
I was not gonna pee in that shower, and I didn't.
The front desk guy was terrifying, and we were not going to call him into our room of all women. It was not.
Come on, that guy's seen more than you guys did damage. There's no way. There's no way.
But listen.
A hotel in fake Chicago. You don't think they've seen worse things?
He yelled at us in the lobby.
We
wouldn't even talk. We were sitting on the couch in the lobby waiting for our friends. And so like we're on the couch, and there's people being actually loud by this water cooler. And he comes up behind us and like puts his hands on the back of the couch and like sticks his head between us. And he's like, I need you to be quiet in my lobby. My guests are sleeping. And I'm like, we weren't even talking, first of all. We were silent. We were on our phones. And that's when I knew that this man could not be trusted.
Okay, well, we're going to talk to Jay White and Juice Robinson, and you're going to start staying at nicer hotels whenever you go places. And you're going to get those gold upgrades because you were staying at like hotel like
Hell.
brown, hotel green, hotel not even on like the metal spectrum.
We got a
Goodness.
noise complaint. There were brown recluse spiders, but like in my head, we were
Where did you? What goes on in fake Chicago?
like in my head, we were only going to be there for one night because we were flying out the night right after All Out. So we didn't want to book another night and have to go all the way back to the hotel, check out, and then go to the airport. So we just booked the night, and I was like, okay, like what's the cheapest? And like what has space for all of us who are going to be in this room? And it was the only one. So that's how that ended up happening. I will never, ever stay there again. It was.
No, you will not. I won't allow it.
And normally I book good hotels, but like in my head, I was like, oh, we're balling on a budget. We're gonna get the cheapest possible.
Yeah, and you're gonna be there for 10 minutes, right? Like,
yeah, because we're going in and we're going out. Like it's not like we're staying on this trip for multiple days. I shouldn't have done that. And first of all,
nope.
but also it wasn't even like a great hotel room. It was actually kind of dark and terrifying. So moral of the story, always pay for the better hotel.
Did you rate them on TripAdvisor? Did you Karen it up? You gotta Karen it sometimes.
I did, because also like a couple weeks later, our friends who were also staying in the hotel, they got charged $500 from this guy, the front desk guy who we hated. For having like unregistered guests in the room, but it was just us knocking on their door to go get them to like go to IHOP or something. And he was like, they're unregistered guests. I had a room. I had checked in.
Also, like, what a snitch. You don't get that money. What a nerd.
Yeah. And his bad coffee in the lobby.
Never again.
Never. I'd rather die.
I'd rather the brown recluse spider come back to haunt me and bite me and I die.
Yeah, no. Ryan is in the chat telling the story because I was going to bring this up anyway. The amount of research I did for a hotel that we were staying at for one night around the Jericho cruise, let me tell you, the in-depth, over-the-top research that I did of like, this is a 12-minute Uber ride to the port. This one is closer to the airport, but whatever. Went in like pretty deep on the research. We agreed on a hotel. We get there. The elevator is broken and Ryan's room had broken air conditioning. I got upgraded to a suite for no reason. Like it's gorgeous, huge king-size bed. It was pretty great. Ryan had to hang out with us while the temperature in his room so we came back down, and then he had to switch rooms anyway. But out of all the fruits of my labor were just useless because I over-researched on hotels.
I normally do, but it's like that one trip, and I wasn't even sure if Haley was coming until like last minute. Well, I wasn't sure how many people were coming. So I was like, it's going to be fine. Like, we're going to be out and about. It's like, it's not a big deal. It was a big deal, turns out.
It was a big deal.
And we left that toilet broken, too, by the way.
Well, first of all, I would, too, after the nonsense in the lobby. Like, I'm not going out of my way to do you favors if you're like, you silent people, stop talking. I'm like, I'm out.
It was so scary, too. Like, I feel like my soul left my body because I didn't see him or hear him. And he's just like, comes up.
Why would you think that guy's talking to you? You weren't speaking.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's people by the water cooler literally talking and screaming right next to guests.
They were literally drunk.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Never again.
Gross. Haley, what match are you most looking forward to?
The Elite, obviously.
The Elite. I should ask what's your second favorite match that you're looking forward to?
I'm gonna say I would say the women's matches. I'm excited to kind of see how they go. Jade and Taya specifically, because we talked about it earlier, but I think that Jade kind of needs a refresh in a different direction. So I would like to see her drop the title here, but you know.
So I'm gonna throw this booking at you because I really like it, and of course came from Pulowski because he's got a great mind for this stuff. Wouldn't it have been so great if Jade dropped the title to like Toni Storm or Ruby Soho, and then she's all pissed, and so she has a reason to be on the good girl side for the like originals versus Outcast thing of like
great.
Right? Of her being like, why would I help you out? I already got my title. I'm undefeated. And then it's all comes to an end. And now you have Jade Cargill, goddess among women, like strongest human being on earth, in this match where she could look so great. Like she could do so much damage and she has an impetus to be on that side. Because like truly part of what's missing for me with this whole story is like, how logically are you not trying to get Jade Cargill in your group? Like either side, to be honest. She's like undefeated. She looks like a cajillion dollars. She's strong. She would do so much damage in a match like that. Like, no offense to like Sheeta or Riho or anybody, but like, like it just even Darling Willow, who I adore to the ends of the earth, it's just like Jade Cargill would be the number one person on that list, right? So that feels like it's been missing for me. In addition to like, we just can't. How many times is it going to be like, oh, cool, Jade squashed people? I feel like you took the baddies off of her. She should be vulnerable, right? Like, it feels like they're stalling. It feels like they're stalling for Chris to come back. So we'll see. We'll see. But I am excited. I feel like Taya was brought in as such a big deal, and that she just got booked to work rampages that are like, we're on at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And you're like, oh, okay.
Special start time.
Yeah, that's been her whole run. Like just by happenstance is these rampages that are on at like the weirdest times. So I'm with you though. I think people are forgetting like how great Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter is going to be because like a lot of people are a little more sour on how long the story's taking to unfold. But I'm like, well, in ring that's going to rule though because both those girls lay it in. So
yeah, if they get time. Like,
yes,
I would love to see a long women's, singles match because we don't really get those in AEW. And like Jade, AEW acts like she's on an island. Like she's not actually part of the women's division. And
yeah, she's on Rampage Island.
Yeah, it's so dumb. So I would love to see this pay-per-view be like a strong women's pay-per-view.
That would be nice. That would be nice. I'm also like, there's a lot of women that are like have been injured that are available or just like people that aren't on TV that could be like Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet and Layla Hirsch. I'm wondering like what her status is. And Chris obviously I think is the biggest powerhouse that's kind of sidelined at the moment, but Serena Deeb, like there's a lot of people that are kind of missing in the zeitgeist for a number of reasons. I don't know how much you guys have been watching ROH, but like this Athena run is not going to be contained to ROH for much longer. I don't think like it's just too damn good. So lots of stuff that they can do with this women's division.
I definitely agree.
Okay. Are you guys going
to Double or Nothing?
To Double or Muffin?
No, I wanted to go, but like the flights were just too expensive. Like,
yeah, of course. Are you doing anything in this upcoming run? Because it's insane. Are you doing Forbidden Door or you're just taking the spring summer?
We might do All Out if we can swing that. If they do it, fake Chicago.
Well, I know where you're not staying.
Yeah, I can mark that off the list.
I will pay premium prices.
I will pay for your hotel. You ain't staying and broken toilet. Easy gonna charge you $500 for no reason, Bill. We're out of there. No
I would be shocked if that hotel is still standing.
Like, that's a very good point. You might not have it as an option because it might have been like set on fire. So. Oh wow. Val, who's the best, by the way, is saying that it's not Chicago. It's in Chicago proper. That's right.
I do like Chicago proper.
Yeah. You can just be like, we're going to take the L, not like, why are we in a field?
There's literally, in Hoffman Estates, there's like an IHOP and a Chipotle, and like that's the whole city. And like there's a movie theater a couple miles away.
Target. Like,
yeah, it sounds like my hometown, which is not the vibes that you want to go for.
Really where I live.
Hard pass.
I like Chicago proper. I love her. Like,
oh my gosh,
yeah, such a great city. The other
I carry my luggage through downtown Chicago.
We went to Staples because we needed to get stuff to make posters for All Out. And there's an escalator in the Staples.
Okay, so they were at Starbucks, and I was like,
and your bus gets here.
Yeah.
Or your
So
train.
I was like, I'll just meet you guys at Starbucks, and I have all my stuff, and so I get there, and they're like, well, we want to make posters. So then we're just wheeling my luggage down the streets of downtown Chicago to Staples, and then I'm like definitely afraid of escalators as it is, and now I gotta carry my like 50-pound suitcase up the escalator.
It was pretty wild.
Saved by the Bell timeout. You're afraid of escalators?
Yeah, I think it's just like the movement, like something in my head, like it just freaks me out. I've gotten better about it, but
so it's not like an Alex Mack possibility. It's not that you're scared about getting like sucked into the.
As a kid, I was, but I feel like that's fair because you're small.
Yeah. It's more just like the motion of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think so.
Interesting.
But I've gotten better at it. I did good. Kylie can attest.
You locked that suitcase up. I just have this vision of you like getting on and quickly turning around to yank your suitcase up with you and going up backwards.
That's literally what I did.
Okay, so are you overpackers, underpackers, and moderate packers when you go to pay-per-views?
I overpack.
I underpack.
You underpack. Okay.
She went to Chicago with a fanny pack.
I did. I just had a fanny pack. That's it. That's all you need. I was only going to be there for like 36 hours.
Okay. She said she overpacks. Are you using that to your advantage? Because you're like, oh, well, Haley will have it. Whatever I don't have.
We were in Chicago for 36 hours and Haley had multiple bags.
Or were you like, oh my gosh, our hotel will be so beautiful and luxurious. I'll have everything I could possibly need.
Well, the thing
is,
like, for me. Like, if you need me to bring something, like I'll bring it since you guys aren't like bringing bags or like paying for checked bags. Like I can
mom
put it
bag,
whatever.
You're the mom bag girl.
Yes, but she was like, "No, like we're good. I think we'll be okay." And then
we were there for 36 hours.
You
like, I'm not bringing
a fanny pack.
I did.
Literally.
And nothing else.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It does seem maybe inadequate for more than going out for 5 hours, one might think.
She had everything she needed in there. She had an extra shirt. She had her toothbrush. Like, she had her ID. Like, everything.
I'm dying to see what happened at the airport when they were like, what's in this? Oh, this whole girl's overnight is in this.
They just x-rayed it and it was fine.
You're so funny. Okay, what do you overpack on? Shoes? Are you a shoes overpacker?
Yes.
Okay.
Shoes, and I always like to bring like an extra pair of like pants or something just in case. I don't know why. I've always been like that.
Respect. See, at least you guys travel with girls. I always travel with boys, and they're the worst. They'll just be like, oh, I forgot pants or whatever. I'm like, how do you forget the most fundamental things in the world?
I forgot my pants.
It's bad.
I left my good pants at home.
If I'm going on a trip, I have to start packing like almost a week in advance so I don't forget things because my ADHD brain will not like I always forget something. But if I just throw it in as I don't need it.
See how you've adjusted your behavior? I just still pack 2 hours before I forget a bunch of things.
At your ship, there's nothing
and I've got like 7 years on you, so I think. Looking for you for adjusting your behavior, not me. Ryan's getting sassy in the chat. Ryan's a good packer. The other maniacs, the ones that I end up sharing a room with when I go to like Baltimore or whatever, maniacs. Boys are just boys.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about boys, but they're just not sanitary.
It's true.
They're just like dirty.
I will say though, as far as like dudes to go to a wrestling show with, because we know what the bottom to the middle level of hygiene for dudes to go to a wrestling show with. I gotta say the dudes that they're like, we are applying deodorant and we take showers. Like that's really all I need. Just do that.
The guy I sat next to it all out smelled like BO the whole time, and I wanted to move so bad, but I couldn't.
Guys, there was a dude in front of us at Final Battle, okay? Like what we thought was going to be the finalist of battles. This was the last pay-per-view of the last ROH. Very emotional roller coaster pay-per-view because no one knew what was happening. Very like actual heartstrings, right? There were some people that we knew that were in this promotion that didn't know if they were going to have jobs. The guy in front of us, I turned to my friend and I was like, I don't know how to describe it other than this guy smells like Fritos and ass. And that is literally exactly what my friends were both like, on the nose, Hensler. Like, they were like, that is what that smell is. It smells like Fritos and ass.
They smell
I'm like trying not to cry because I'm like, oh my god, CM Punk said in a video. Oh my god, Danielson said in a video. Like just a mess. Just a mess. And then this guy, you would just get like a waft. And you're like, ugh. Yikes.
I literally just like full body like
it makes you want to shower and you're not the one that needs to shower. It's so gross.
I know. And it's like, do they not smell themselves? Like,
are they so used to the stench that they just can't smell it anymore?
My god. Brutal.
Now I can't stop thinking about it. Like I can envision the smell. Like I know
fellas in the chat, you should know. You should be taking notes. Be like, all you have to do is give yourself a whiff. Make sure that you're good.
And also, I don't know why a lot of guys don't, but like they don't use like a washcloth or like a loofah. Like you need to exfoliate.
They use their hands.
Oh, boys are so gross. We should change the title of this to just like Haley, Kiley, and Kate shoot on boys.
Top 10 things I hate about men.
There you go. And wrestlers, wash your gear. How about that shit, huh? If you are a wrestler, wash your gear. I ain't hanging out backstage or doing commentary with people that don't wash their gear. Dan Barry will yell at you. I've seen it happen. It's great.
And if you feel like you have to ask someone if you smell, you smell.
You do.
There it is. See?
100%.
So true.
See? Free advice.
You're welcome.
For a bunch of dudes who are probably like, oh, I'm a nice guy. Why can't I get a girlfriend? Because you smell. Because you're nice, but you smell. All right? Wash your ass. That's all we ask.
That's all we ask. Like bare minimum. Like just do this for me
now. If I'm gonna be in the same room as you, anybody that's watching this that also goes to GCW, you're the problem. Okay?
GCW was so bad.
My favorite. Okay, so my favorite GCW story. I went to Tournament of Survival because I'm an idiot, and it was in Atlantic City. And there was a guy in front of me who had a NASCAR hat that said "Eat ass," and he turned around, literally did not say a word to me, and offered me his hotel key. And I was like,
was this?
Oh gosh, pre-pandemic. Second one, maybe?
I was gonna say I went last year, and I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Oh my god, he seemed like a regular. I will put it that way. And I was like, I'm just coming here to watch death matches and hang out with Kevin Gill. That's all I wanted to do that day. And he just turned around and gave me a hotel key. And I was like, first of all, you did not see me. Like, you are taking a bigger risk than you even realized. And second of all, like, I'm good. But third of all, I was like, I wish I had that level of confidence. I don't want it to be that misdirected. But that guy was like, I'm going to turn around and give this girl my hotel key. And she's probably going to take it. I'm probably going to get laid with my eat-ass NASCAR hat. Like, imagine being that confident.
I wish I were.
So many things that I want to say, but I won't.
I would get in a lot of trouble if I speak.
Oh my god.
That's what the DMs are for. Anyway, this is a show about wrestling.
Is it?
Sure. I should probably go back to work at some point. It's fine.
I love how I think this is the longest show we've ever done of Tag Talk or like any show together.
I have a propensity to do that.
It's good.
I love it.
I feel like I came on right when you guys were like wrapping up.
No, we were talking about Jade Cargill, and you know what? We've come full circle. We talked about it.
It's fair. swear.
We took a detour to get there. We made our way back though.
You did. Listen, Ryan. I do plenty of shows that aren't 2 hours. I just also do shows that are 2 hours.
There's something wrong with that, Ryan.
As people are like, oh, you and Alex talk for 2 hours about NXT. And I'm like, no, we don't. We talk about NXT for like 10 minutes. And the rest of it is us singing and doing puns on Tuesday nights. Like, we don't actually talk about NXT for that long. It's the other stuff that makes us go long.
You know,
very little wrestling analysis and a lot of singing and puns. Nobody that watches our review show watches NXT. It's like a 50-50 split. So
that's fair. You know what? I think that's a good statistic. I think that's valid.
It's pretty good, right? Are they not entertained?
You give them what NXT doesn't, entertainment. And you know what? They should respect it.
I would say that Alex's original characters have more creative continuity than NXT, for sure. Undoubtedly.
It's probably true.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
I feel like we could do the math and like make a graph or something.
We probably could. All right, well, I'm going to go back to work since my work day's over in a few minutes. I should probably see if I got anything else. Thanks for letting me come on here and be unhinged. I love you guys.
It was so fun.
You do not book any more hotels without talking to me first, all right, young ladies? All right?
Okay.
Exactly.
Gotta hit leave studio and not end broadcast. Gotta hit leave studio and not end broadcast. Okay, love you guys. Bye.
Oh my god. That was a good time, guys. We should have Kate on more often.
Oh, that was great. I love when we have like little guests. Because we like to host by ourselves, but we love a guest.
Yeah. We haven't, I think, because I did like the special guest series, but like I don't think the two of us have had a third, like for the whole show. Because like we were going to with Brillo, but then I had emergency surgery.
But we're going to come back, and then we're going to have Hunter, and it's going to be 4 people on screen, and it's going to be chaotic. So.
True tag talk. It's a real tag team match.
No, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Never mind.
Okay, do you want to do your plugs instead?
Sure.
We should probably wrap before we hit 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk fast. Okay. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Haley _. You can also subscribe to my Substack, The Wrestling Muse. I'm working on another piece right now. It should be up sometime this week. But I published one about the Carousel Room at the Showboat in Atlantic City, and I got a lot of quotes and things from fans that frequent GCW shows there and other wrestling shows, and I'm really proud of it. So I would love if you guys check that out. Also, I should have an announcement coming this week. I know I said that last week. It got derailed, but we're back on track. So stay tuned to my Twitter for that because it's really exciting. Okay. But that's that, I think.
No, we need a Haley checklist. I just realized super chat. One from my sister. Hi from me and Brandon. Hello. One from Caden. Seahawk got to see me lose my mind for the Elite. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
My plugs. I was like, what was I talking about? My plugs. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitter at @Fuller_Kiley because everything I'm doing there. Thank you guys so much for being a trooper with my nephew here and Noise and everything. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. This is Fightful Overbooked. There's lots of cool things on this channel. If you are not subscribed to Fightful Overbooked, what are you doing with your life? Subscribe to Fightful Overbooked. There's so many great people on here, like Kate and me and Haley, and Caden? ? But anyway, subscribe to Overbooked. If you're watching this after we go live, hi. We talked a lot about the Elite, not so much about Double or Nothing. So if you want to talk about Double or Nothing in the comments, I will be there. I will respond to your comments. We can talk Double or Nothing or Double or Nothing past, whatever you want to talk about. Weird men in hotels, sure. Corey's right. Rob and Maggie, love Rob and Maggie. Everyone on Fightful Overbooked is like so wholesome. everyone at Fightful is wholesome, but like there's something special about the bond of all of us who do shows on Fightful Overbooked. I don't know what it is.
Like a little family.
Yeah, like we're all just so close. And I really love it. I think I did all that. Like this video, comment, YouTube, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll see you guys next week, Monday, 3 p.m. right here. Same place. We're going to talk about Double or Nothing. And we'll see you guys. Bye.